Mike Tyson and Jake Paul just had an intense backstage face-off that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. It happened at a private event in Orlando, where the two were meeting ahead of their highly anticipated fight on November 15, 2024. Things escalated fast. Jake started his typical trash talk, poking fun at Tyson's age and calling him washed up, while claiming the YouTube generation was taking over boxing. Jake, always looking for a viral moment, clearly went too far this time, pushing Tyson past his breaking point. Without warning, Tyson lunged at Jake, throwing punches in a heated response before security could step in. What started as a tense exchange turned into a full-on brawl, sending people scrambling to break them apart. Jake, who had looked confident moments before, suddenly looked panicked as Tyson closed in with fierce determination. The altercation was serious enough to leave fans and insiders buzzing, with many questioning what it means for their upcoming fight. Tyson's reaction showed he's not in this for the theatrics, he's defending his legacy. Meanwhile, Jake got a first-hand glimpse of the intensity Tyson is bringing to the ring, and it's clear their November face-off will be one for the books. This backstage incident has only ramped up the anticipation, with fans now more eager than ever to see how this newfound tension will play out in the ring. As fight night approaches, it's safe to say this brawl has set the stage for an explosive showdown.
Orlando, we're here, baby. Time to handle business. Let's go!
Jake Paul arrived at the face-off doing what he does best, full of swagger and ready to cause a scene. Wearing an outfit that screamed confidence, shades indoors, and that signature cocky grin, it was clear he had a plan: stir up trouble, grab headlines, and get people talking. It's classic Jake, never one for peace or pleasantries, and his target this time was none other than the legendary Mike Tyson. When Jake and Mike came face to face, the tension was palpable. Fans watching the live event felt it too. This wasn't just a routine face-off to promote their upcoming November bout, it was a ticking time bomb, especially with Jake involved. The back-and-forth banter started as typical trash talk, a familiar attempt to boost pay-per-view interest. But Jake, being Jake, didn't know when to stop. He kept pushing, throwing verbal jabs, and testing Tyson's patience. First, Mike held his ground, calm and composed, his stoic expression betraying nothing as he listened to Jake's taunts. But Jake kept poking, taunting Tyson with claims that he was past his prime. Jake boldly declared himself as the new face of boxing and went on about how the YouTube generation was going to take over the sport. The final straw came when Jake called Tyson washed up. It was a statement he likely regretted almost instantly. Mike's demeanor shifted in a split second. Gone was the calm, collected legend, replaced by the fierce competitor who had dominated the ring for decades. Without warning, Mike snapped, lunging at Jake with an intensity that few could match. Security barely had time to react as Tyson threw punches, forcing the people around them to jump in and separate the two. Jake, who had looked so confident just moments before, was now trying to backtrack, visibly rattled as Tyson closed in. The entire scene was chaotic. Jake's plan to generate buzz had backfired, and instead of just another trash talk exchange, it turned into a near brawl. The altercation left fans reeling and electrified, wondering how the intensity of this backstage confrontation would translate to the ring. One thing is clear: Jake underestimated Tyson's reaction, and their November showdown is shaping up to be far more intense than anyone expected. This face-off wasn't just a promotional stunt, it was a serious preview of the fury Tyson is bringing to the ring. Fans are now counting down to what promises to be an unforgettable fight. Things took a wild turn when Mike Tyson finally had enough of Jake Paul's taunts. In a split second, Tyson lunged at Jake, throwing one of his signature punches. It all happened so fast that even security didn't have time to react. Jake, who had been laughing just a second before, quickly lost his cocky demeanor. He was backpedaling, dodging punches, trying to stay out of Tyson's reach, but he wasn't quick enough. Tyson managed to land a solid hit, and if Jake shows up with a black eye in the coming days, it won't take long for fans to guess where it came from. The room erupted into chaos. Security rushed in from all directions, pulling Tyson back and trying to separate the two before things escalated any further. Fans at the event were stunned. Some whipped out their phones, eager to capture every second, while others just stood in shock, trying to process what they had just seen. For Jake, his expression went from confident to panicked real quick. You could see him trying to regain his composure, touching his face to check for damage, but it was clear this wasn't part of his plan. Tyson wasn't playing games, and Jake's usual antics had finally pushed the wrong buttons. Not one to stay quiet, Jake immediately took to Instagram after the altercation to share his thoughts. Just moments after the chaos, he was on social media, posting a string of Instagram stories where he seemed even more hyped than usual. Gone was his smirk, replaced by a look of pure, almost manic determination. He promised his followers that he'd take down Tyson on fight night, saying, "Why I'll think Mike Tyson's some kind of invincible legend? Nah, he's just washed, and I'm about to prove it." He was close to the camera, his face intense as he continued his rant. Jake didn't stop there. He went on to double down on his insults, calling Tyson old news and claiming that their fight on November 15th would mark the beginning of the end for the boxing legend. "These boomers don't even know what's coming," he said, sounding more fired up than ever. Jake bragged that his generation was changing the game, insisting that he was about to make history by taking down Tyson in the ring. But fans weren't buying what Jake was selling. The comment sections on his stories lit up with trolls and critics, with many calling him out for barely surviving the face-off, let alone the upcoming fight. One user sarcastically commented, "Bro, you barely survived the face-off. What makes you think you're going to survive the fight?" Others reminded Jake that Tyson's punches were no joke, with one user hilariously adding, "Can't wait for Jake to do a reaction video from the hospital bed after Mike's done with him." The internet was merciless, and Jake's bravado wasn't winning over too many people this time. Jake, however, seemed unfazed. If anything, the negativity only fueled him. Known for thriving on attention, he kept doubling down on his claims, each story more intense than the last. November 15th, he declared, staring straight into the camera, "I'm going to be the guy who retires Mike Tyson once and for all." His tone was serious, as if he was about to go to war, but you could still detect a hint of insecurity in his eyes. The reality of stepping into the ring with a living legend like Tyson seemed to be setting in. Yet Jake continued to hype himself up, repeating, "I'm the problem child. I was born for this." This whole post-fight rant became a spectacle of its own. Fans were either laughing at him or cheering him on, but either way, they couldn't look away. Jake was in his element, using the backlash to fuel his ego, determined to prove the doubters wrong. In the days following the altercation, fans and analysts alike dissected every detail, trying to gauge if Jake could back up his words. Tyson, known for his devastating power and experience, is no stranger to the mental games of boxing, but Jake's strategy seemed less about mental warfare and more about creating a media frenzy, by leaning into his reputation as the problem child. He hoped to shake Tyson, though the odds were certainly not in his favor. With the fight just weeks away, the internet buzzed with speculation. Memes and videos circulated of the brawl, with countless fans poking fun at Jake's over-the-top reactions. "Jake better have the ambulance on speed dial," joked one fan, while others imagined what Tyson's response might be if Jake continued to poke the bear. Even celebrities and athletes couldn't resist chiming in, some applauding Jake for his audacity and others warning him of the inevitable reality check that awaits him in the ring. Regardless of the online chatter, Jake continued to lean into his bold persona, treating the backlash as just another way to amp up the fight. For Jake, all press is good press, and his Instagram stories were just one part of his plan to drum up hype. But behind all the bravado, some fans speculated that the fight with Tyson might be pushing him further than he anticipated. After all, Tyson isn't just any opponent, he's a fighter with a legacy, a force that even Jake's confidence might not be enough to handle. Jake's post-fight promises and relentless trash talk had fans on both sides hooked, counting down to what could either be the biggest upset or the most humbling defeat of his career. And while Jake seems dead set on proving he's the future of boxing, many are betting that Tyson will deliver a brutal reminder of what it takes to hold that title. The stage is set for an unforgettable night, and if the brawl was any indication, the fight itself promises to be nothing short of explosive.
You had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurt still? This is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio.
Tyson didn't even flinch. It was like he knew exactly what Jake was up to and wasn't going to reward him with a reaction. With decades in the ring, Tyson has dealt with plenty of trash talkers, and he kept his cool as Jake unraveled. But make no mistake, Tyson's not one to underestimate, especially when it comes to fight night. Jake's taunts may have stung, especially with digs at Tyson's health, but he'll let his fists respond in the ring. Jake's brash personality backfired this time. The hype might have boosted his visibility, but it also landed him in the hospital. Following the intense brawl, the YouTuber-turned-boxer was rushed to emergency care, where things didn't quite go his way. The scuffle has fans wondering if he's in over his head, with Tyson waiting to settle things in the ring on November 15th. The hype for Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson is off the charts, and after their explosive face-off, it's only intensifying. Tickets are selling fast as fans can't get enough of this unlikely matchup. Tyson already gave Jake a sneak peek of what's to come by landing a punch at the face-off, and now fans are buzzing with theories, predictions, and countless memes. The internet is ablaze with one big question: is Jake really prepared for a fighter like Tyson, or is he walking into a knockout? This fight is shaping up to be next level, and with all the drama leading up to it, the anticipation is through the roof. Only time will tell how it plays out. So what do you think about the recent brawl? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. See you in the next video. Until then, peace out.